Cast, I know things look a bit different this week. It's because we're trying something new. Apologies for the no intro. We've not got one yet. Why DMCA? Oh well. This week we've got Manny Set
Fun to
TV.
stay at the
DMCA.
DMCA.
Twitch jail is DMCA. This week, as you can already hear him singing, is Manny Set TV. How are we doing, son?
I am all good. I am fantastic on this fantastic Friday evening.
Fantastic. I told him that we're changing up the podcast a little bit into a different kind of structure. Hence why I'm here and COD isn't. See, we're changing things up around here.
Yes, we are.
One of the things we're doing, as well as I said, is kind of more like an interview type thing. So what does he do? He overdresses me.
To be fair, I was just back for the snooker, so
I'm in my jammies, like, and he's with a full waistcoat. I'm like, well, I'm clearly underdressed here. I'm gonna have to start wearing. Maybe I'll start dressed like a football commentator. That'd be the best thing to do.
Definitely. A Spanish football commentator.
Mm-hmm. What I'll do is I'll hold the microphone extra close to my mouth, and then if someone scores a goal, I'll just deafen everyone. Who's in.
Go!
Go! And I'll hold it for as long as I can until my mum comes knocking on my door. So, anyway, like I said, the structure of the podcast changed up a little bit. We're doing it more like an interview. This is so you can get to know the people of the podcast as well. And we will try and keep it going as a lovely. I love how my mic input is already fucking up. Even better. Is that better? Does it sound better? There we go. I sound much better now.
So.
I don't know. It'll probably sound the exact same on Discord. Anyway, so like I said, we're changing up the structure of the podcast to be a bit more about the guest itself, so you guys can get to know a bit more about who the streamer is in IndiScots, as well as what they do, and a bit more about the personal life. You know, it's a bit of a chat to chat, a heart to heart with our guest. And this week it's
Heart to heart.
see, now he's dressed appropriately. He's probably going to get absolutely naked now. It's this kind of podcast. I did promise him that we. There we go. Yes. We started with the thigh slap.
Yes.
Anyway, so easy questions at the very start. Obviously, we're going to ask a bit about Manny. So, Manny, tell us a bit about yourself.
Fuck. No, well, for those that don't know, my name's James. Go by Manny on Twitch. Maniset TV is the full channel name. I'm not that long into streaming, been doing it for about 2 months now. Usually just try and keep myself to myself, going through college at the minute, going through work. So that's why my Twitch schedule's sort of sporadic. I've not made an official Twitch schedule because I want to wait until I'm fully back into college and work, and then I can work around that. But apart from that, I usually just spend most of my time playing games, finding other stuff to do. Usually enjoying the outdoors or the ramblings of the local scheme wing.
Excellent. So, you saying like you just started streaming. So what exactly was it that you decided? You know what, I'm going to give this streaming thing a go.
Much like a lot of the most recent channels that have came up out of nowhere, lockdown. I mean, due to the full COVID crisis, I've not had much to do. I've seen a few of my pals stream on Twitch, and I was like, you know what? I've got the equipment. I've got some games that I can play. I've got an account. I've had an account for a while, so I was like, you know what? Let's do it. And then I decided that I couldn't get back into my old account, which was King of the Crab Claw, so I decided to make a new one, which was Maniset TV.
Excellent. So you just mentioned your old name there. Like I've got a feeling that every name you hear on Twitch has a story behind it. So tell us what is the story behind the name Maniset TV?
The story behind Maniset TV actually came from Black Desert Online when I played that. Now, I've not played a lot of Black Desert Online, but I sat there for a good half an hour, maybe even an hour, trying to get Captain Crabclaw or anything like that, because that's my PS4 name. And I couldn't get it for love nor money, so I had to just start trying to think of something new. So Maniset came Maniset was a combination of my favourite song by one of my favourite bands, which is Manifest by Starset. So if you just cut them both down in the middle and combine them, you get Maniset. So that was my character's name in Black Desert, and I just took it with me.
Nice. So you said playing Black Desert. I take it, is it mostly MMOs you play, or do you kind of play a bit of variety on your channel? What is it usually?
I've actually yet to play a MMO. Well, I'll tell you, I played Fallout 76. But apart from that, I don't actually play a lot of MMOs. I prefer to play single player games or multiplayer games with my pals where we can just cause absolute havoc and have a laugh. I was thinking about getting back to World of Warcraft because it was one of those games that I actually thoroughly enjoyed playing. To the point where I think I've got like 3 level 70 characters and spent, I don't know, an ungodly amount of money on it. Oh god, an ungodly amount of money.
Yeah, it
The,
is.
account, the accounts have just started running back through my brain, and the invoices have just started rushing through my cerebral cortex. Oh dear god, the amount of cash I spent.
Is this when you just realise how many subscriptions you're paying for?
Yes, that would explain where all my money's going. Well, that was where all my money went. But hey, I could afford it, and I didn't have anything else to buy, so.
Excellent. So, going into games like World of Warcraft and everything, we're going to ask some pretty broad, kind of low tier questions here, but questions that everyone obviously would love to know as well. Is Manny Set TV, what is your favourite game of all time and why?
Mass Effect.
The whole series?
The whole series. No, I'm joking. Mass Effect is one of the games that I hold near and dear to myself. But my favourite hands down has got to be Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. And that was because it was the first introduction to the Elder Scrolls that I had. It was the first ever game I got with my Xbox, and it was quite a sentimental value to me because it was when I was younger for Christmas. That was when I first got the Xbox, and a lot of my mates got Halo and like Call of Duty Finest Hour and all that shit. I didn't want any of that. Like, I didn't want Halo to be given me, and then I found out what Halo was, and then I got it. But the first game that I ever discovered was the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, and that was like my first full-blown introduction into modern video games rather than classic video games. Now, don't get me wrong, my favourite franchise of all time will always be The Legend of Zelda. But back then it was just Zelda Ocarina of Time, Zelda's 1 and 2, and this was like my first game outside a Nintendo game. So to there, it's always been great sentimental value to me.
Yeah. So was that your first ever game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That and you see a wizard fucking drop from 300 feet out of nowhere. That was to this day, that is one of the most hilarious gaming moments I have ever witnessed.
Oh, yeah, obviously. Like it's some of the best moments I think of anybody's memories come from gaming. If you want any proof, just go into the clips of IndiScots and watch God Eat My Dog playing Skyrim for the first time and seeing horses fly. It's especially with
like for me playing when I played Morrowind and then I played Oblivion and then I played Skyrim. To me, Skyrim feels like a spiritual HD successor to Morrowind. And then when they added the Dragonborn DLC, when you got to go back to Morrowind and they played all the old background music from Morrowind, I was just like, my heart.
How many hours do you think you've sunk into the Elder Scrolls in general?
Elder Scrolls entirety? Altogether, you're looking at about 1,600 to 1,700 hours. So, an unhealthy amount of time.
No. Is it unhealthy, though, considering how long it's been out for?
That's a good point, actually. Like, there is probably a lot of people that have got a lot more in that.
Yeah, definitely. You said 1,600 hours, and I'm like, oh, that's unhealthy. Oh god, I need to. Oh dear.
I need to find my dope up.
As somebody who has played as well Morrowind, Elder Scrolls Online, Skyrim as well, it is. Oh, it's stupidly easy.
It's one of the games you can just easily lose a lot of time to.
So what's your usual class? What do you usually go for?
Mage.
Mage.
I love magic, but I've noticed myself recently going back into sort of physical combat, so sword and shield, because it's been a while. But if I ever go sword and shield, it's always an orc I go, just for the fact that orcs are just unstoppable. But I've always preferred, like when it came to fantasy games and RPGs, I've always preferred the magic aspect. Like, why would you want to stab somebody when you can literally set them on fire? Like, you can yeet a fireball right at them. Like, how does that not appeal to people?
Yeah, totally as well. But anyway, going back to you said your favorite franchise, Mass Effect. What was it that brought you to Mass Effect?
What brought me to Mass Effect? Well, I've always been a big fan. I've always been a big fan of BioWare ever since Neverwinter Nights. When they brought out Knights of the Old Republic, the Star Wars game for the Xbox, that was one of the other games that I think that was like the third game I got for the original Xbox. But that was one of the other games that I deeply engrossed myself into. And the plot twist in it was just, I was like, what? So that flung me down the BioWare rabbit hole, so I always kept my ear to the ground for anything BioWare coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found out they were doing, when the Xbox 360 rolled around, I found out they were doing a space opera, like a space opera RPG, and I was thinking, could it be Knights of the Republic 3? And that's when I went down the rabbit hole, and that's when I came across Mass Effect. And I played the first one, and from there I was just absolute spellbound. And a lot of the franchise does get a lot of hate, mainly because of Andromeda, because of the facial animations, the gameplay, and that. But I think it's mainly because people treated it as a direct sequel and not as a spin-off, as that's what it actually is, a spin-off. Because I'm one of the people that thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was great. But Mass Effect just sort of built on my admiration for Knights of the Old Republic and just ran with it.
Mm.
So since then, I've just been absolutely mesmerised with Mass Effect due to the fact that, I mean, they've got creatures in it, like, they took the full alien aspect and just blew it wide open. I mean, they've got aliens in it that speak in the third person. They've got aliens that speak in a monotonous voice, a monotone voice, so they have to express what sort of emotion they're speaking in before they actually say their sentence. And I'm thinking to myself, that like that's the sort of stuff that you don't actually consider when you hear about aliens. You usually think about wee green men running about probing people.
Mm-hmm.
And they managed to make a full franchise out of it without a single green man in sight.
Mm. Yeah, blue people with tentacles, but that was about it.
Mm. That's close enough, I suppose.
Aye. Is it even a game about aliens if there's no some form of tentacle?
I mean, I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going, so...
Mm-hmm. I did promise you something off chat, but we'll keep that to ourselves. Anyway, so we spoke about your favourite game. Let's go to the complete opposite. What is, in your opinion, the worst video game ever made?
Oh, the worst video game. Oh, you're asking a lover to fight. I've never been... I'm not saying it's the worst video game. I've never been a fan of the Dark Souls series. I've played all of them. I've played all of them because I'm one of these people that if I'm going to make a criticism of a game, I need to play the game in its entirety before I can make... you need to pick the head before you flip the coin. So I'm thinking to myself, I'll play through the full games and I'll see why I don't like it. I prefer a game with a good bit of challenge, but I don't want a game that's overly challenging. A game where it's so challenging that it becomes no longer fun. Because again, that's what video games are for at the end of the day. They're a bit fun. They're a bit having fun. But if I were to pick a game that I do not like of all time, hands down, easily, it's got to be FIFA. I don't understand it.
You're the same as me. Yeah.
I don't like the only sports games that I'll enjoy are Madden and maybe a wee bit of NBA and WWE. But football game, a game of football, I understand why it appeals to the masses because everybody loves football. It's a common sport. It's the sport of the people. You know what I mean? I mean, Brazil treats it like a fucking religion. But to me, it's just I've never been a sporty guy, so it never really appealed to me.
Yeah. Are you kind of the same as me? Is why would you spend 50 quid on a game where you can pretend to play football, or you can go buy a football for 20 quid?
Exactly. I use video games to escape reality.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, football games are just the same as me going, you know what, I'm going to download a game that lets me pretend I'm doing my shift.
Mm-hmm.
If I wanted to go play football, there's a football pitch 2 minutes away from me. And grab a ball and kick a ball at it. But to me, FIFA's just never been... I mean, Vanessa does make up a good point, Dark Souls isn't that hard when you use the dodge hit mechanic. And believe it or not, the one thing that made Dark Souls a lot easier for me was The Witcher. Playing The Witcher on Deathmatch, you learn how to dodge a lot more frequently. When I played The Witcher and completed it on Deathmatch, I went back to Dark Souls. And don't get me wrong, it was still difficult, but I didn't have nearly as much as a difficult time as I did.
Yeah,
but again,
yeah, I totally get that. I'll be honest, I can't say anything. The way I made Dark Souls easier for myself was just getting Yaldi to go kill everything for me, and then me going forward. But that's just how I played the game. Just be a bitch about it. But yeah, like I totally get it as well. I guess we could sit here all day and talk about the challenge ratings of games and games being hard for the sake of being hard. But I think that's a completely different conversation.
yeah.
So going into, you've mentioned that you had an original Xbox, and what was that your first console?
Actually, no. My first console was an Atari 2600. My father used to do a lot of removals, and the removals he'd done, the people had already long gone, so he was just basically dealing with like abandoned flats for landlords and moving them out, and he came across an Atari in one of the flats, so the landlord basically says, whatever you find, keep to yours, you can keep.
Then he found an Atari 2600?
I found an Atari 2600. That was my first console. Didn't find any games for it. I had to buy some games. My next console after that was a SNES. And then it was the Xbox. The Xbox was probably the one that I played the most. I used to be an absolute Xbox child all the way up to the 360, and then the PS4 came out. And to be brutally honest with you, I don't remember buying it because I was absolutely blackout drunk. Like, I was blackout drunk and I just got a tax rebate in, so I went, you know what, I'm going to go to the fort and see what happens. And I came back with a PS4 and Final Fantasy.
That's a pretty sort of solid way. Like I think it seems to that's what a lot of people have done. They went from Xbox 360 to PlayStation 4, or they went from PS3 to PlayStation 4. Nobody really talks about their Xbox One right now.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I think the Xbox One is like a remarkable piece of kit. But my little brother's got an Xbox One. When I use his Xbox One, it's as if the menu itself is foreign to me. Like, they say that, there isn't been a lot of changes since the dashboard from 360 to One. No, trust me, I am a devout 360 fanatic. I know when something's been tampered with, and when I look at the Xbox One, I still feel as if I'm lost on the dashboard. But the PS4 is so much like easier to navigate. Like, when the first time I bought it and it was fully installed and prepped to go, I had no issue moving about the full dashboard. But to this day, I still have troubles going through the Xbox One.
So you think you'll be getting a PlayStation 5 when it comes out?
I will be, yeah. Definitely.
Will you be getting the disc edition or the digital?
I don't actually know. I mean, I'm still a firm believer in disc games. I mean, even if it's just for nostalgic purposes. You're just sitting there and just put the disc in, you just feel that tiny wee bit of thing where you're just like, that's my exercise done for the day. My disc is put in. But I can see the digital version getting a lot of problems, because not only a lot of people think, that means that everything's digital, and I'm like, aye, that's also a downside. Everything's digital. Not only are you going to need to worry about downloading games and applications, but you've got to worry about the patch updates, the big updates for the games and applications, the software updates, all of that stuff. So they're going to need to think about getting a decent sized hard drive. Because I know for a fact they're just going to hit it with, like, if they don't, they have to at least, when it comes to the PS5, there's not been any specifications, I think, about how big the hard drive's going to be. But if they want to try and sell it, they're going to have to at least think about 1 terabyte minimum. Take games like Call of Duty Modern Warfare, for example, the latest one. I had to uninstall that off my PS4 because it was 180 gig. 180 gig. And I was just like, nah, that's basically the digital version of holding my console ransom. I can download 6 games that I could play till the end of time for that amount of space.
Especially with all the updates being like 30 gigs now and everything as well. It's just
exactly.
getting ridiculous.
No, it's getting absolutely insane. Like, we're getting more technologically advanced by the day, and we still can't learn how to fucking defragment and zip shit.
Well, we can go into like a whole fucking have you heard about the conspiracy theories behind why these files are so big now and everything?
Oh, it's like tracking data and all that, innit?
Not even that. It's there was a conspiracy theory. Like they took Warzone for example, and they went, the reason that every single update is 30 gig is so you need to uninstall other games to update the game. Therefore, you've got less games on your console. Therefore, you'll play Warzone more.
I mean
That's like,
theory
yeah. It's like,
it doesn't hold a lot of weight because a lot of people don't like Warzone.
Hmm.
Like that's how it doesn't hold a lot of weight, and I'm pretty sure that there's a fact. The fact of the matter is, it's only 180 gig if you download Warzone. Warzone's a completely separate download from Modern Warfare, and you'd be surprised that there's a lot of people playing Warzone right now, really as much as who actually play the base Modern Warfare.
Mm-hmm.
But battle royale games, like I've not been the biggest fan of battle royale. Like I say, I prefer games with like creativity, like level design, linear stories, stuff like that. Like, don't get me wrong, I can see the appeal. I play it from time to time. You're just chucked in the middle of an area with fuck all on you, and you need to fend for yourself. I can see the appeal in that, but for me, I prefer games where you point me somewhere, I go there, get shit, go to the next place. That's all it is for me.
Excellent. Well, we've talked about your gaming history as well. Let's talk about your channel a bit more. Like we said, we've talked about the name Manny TV, but let's go into something. So, I'm in your chat right now, and I'm looking through some of the rewards for your points. So I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions about where these came from. So,
all right.
Where did the Skeletor laugh come from?
Skeletor laugh. So I'm not a big fan of He-Man. I also have this little beauty. That was one of the first pop vinyls that I got, and I've always loved Skeletor due to the fact that he is like the archetype, if not the stereotype, for comic book villain. And it's just he's one of the villains that if you look at him long enough, he doesn't look like a villain. He just looks like an adult that's had enough of everything. Which basically relates to adulthood in general. Like when you watch He-Man as a child and you see Skeletor up to no good, you're like, boo, Skeletor. And then like when you get to my age, when you get to like 25 and you watch it and you're like, fucking get him, Skeletor, man, I've had enough of this dick. It's a classic case of, wait a minute, let's look at his side of the story, and then you realise he's just like, I've had enough, I just want to sit in my castle, do my shit, and fucking get on with my life. Leave me alone.
Yeah, you know, he's struggling as well. You know, he's having to do some cameos for Money Supermarket. You know, he's struggling. You know.
Exactly. Like, it wasn't even that. When the last time I went out drinking, I hot out with the Skeletor laugh because we were talking about Skeletor and we were just talking about like random shit. It was like one of the ones like when you're steaming and you go, "Oh mate, do you remember this?" or "Oh, do you remember that?" It was like one of the ones, and that's what I hot out with. These remember He-Man and these remember Skeletor, and then I hot out with the Skeletor laugh and I went, "Mate, that's actually pretty fucking accurate." So I was like, you know what? I'm going to whack that as a channel point because I actually enjoy doing the Skeletor laugh because it's pretty fucking funny.
Excellent. And you've also got stuff like, obviously we also know what a dab is. You've got to make me dab. You've also got Yeet as well.
Yeet is primarily used for when I play Sea of Thieves. Every now and then I play the Sea of Thieves with a Dutch class region. And while you're sailing, you have the ability to climb into the cannon and shoot yourself out of it. So I added the Yeet option that no matter what's happening, if we're attacking an enemy player, if we're under attack by an enemy ship, whatever, even if we're just plain sailing on the seas, whenever somebody redeems it, I need to shoot myself in the cannon, scream Yeet, and just launch myself into the fucking horizon.
Yeah, that sounds fun. It does something that would actually be kind of funny to do. I might do it all of a sudden one day on your stream. I'll make sure it's like it's just waiting for you to come in and just maybe a Kraken attack and I'll be like, eat yourself.
I mean, I have a channel point that's like remains hidden and it comes at special occasions, which is just drink. So I'll let when I'm doing celebration streams, I'll let my chat basically dictate how much I drink. So instead of hydrate, it's just get pissed. And normally I'm about pissed within 15 to 20 minutes of the stream.
Because my
chat are a bunch of bastards.
Well, that's what chat's there for, though.
Yeah, exactly.
The chat are there to roast you.
Yeah, the reason all my stuff's at low level points is because I want my chat to get involved. Like even if they're not spending the points, if they're chatting about it or talking about it, I want them to get involved with each other. That way, I've got me to talk about, they've got me to talk about, and we can all just chill out as a group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, so we spoke a lot about your gaming, a lot about your streaming. We've not spoke about you as a person. Now, you've mentioned that you're a student. What is it? What is it currently studying?
I'm currently studying financial services. Just completed my HNC, so moving into HND this year at the end of August, start of September.
What got you into that?
Numbers.
Numbers.
Yeah, like I've always been good at maths and stuff, and like don't get me wrong, there's 1,000 ways to apply maths into everyday life, but none are as big as the financial sector.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've been working around numbers every day of the week, sorting out mortgages, sorting out loans, calculating investment risk and calculation. So stuff like that, I never knew that I actually had that mind for it. I never knew that I actually had an act it. So I was like, you know what? I'll go to college and see how I do.
Mm-hmm.
So started at NQ, then we went to HNC, now we're starting HND. And I don't know if I'm planning getting to university or just finishing the HND where it is and then just getting right into the banking industry and financial sector. That, and I looked at some of the pay, the wages and salaries, and that's a lot. That I could probably play World of Warcraft for eternity on that wage.
It's a good amount. let's put that. It's
a mighty generous amount.
It's worth sitting in a room for 6 hours a day, having someone tell you you're doing maths wrong.
Yeah.
Excellent. Absolutely excellent. And we all know, if you're a part of the Discord as well, we all know what your nighttime job is. So,
yes.
Do you want to tell?
Student by day, bouncer by night.
So do you want to tell anyone how you got into the I know the night business?
Funnily enough, spite.
Spite.
Yes, spite actually made me become a door steward. Right, started when I was 19, and before that, I used to do a few glass collecting shifts here and there at local clubs because my big brother was a door steward, and he would always let me know if the bar he was working at was needing an extra glass collector or just like an extra cleaner or something. I would come in, help out, get a decent wage for it, and then on my way. And then it was basically my brother just turned around and said, "No, you couldn't be a door steward." So I turned around and went, "You want to fucking bet?" 6 years later, been doing it since I was 19. Been in and out the club scene pretty much for that percentage of time. But obviously I haven't been doing it really recently because of the lockdown. But it's a good laugh. Like, I've learned a lot, believe it or not, from being a steward. Like, communication is key. And you get to learn a lot about the people that are coming into the club, because most of the people when they're steaming will come up and talk to a bouncer. You'll come up and chat to a bouncer. You've done it once in your life. I've done it plenty of times in my life, where you've came up and you've just started talking to the bouncer because you're fucking bored and your pals are assholes. So you've just went, you know what? I'm going to go talk to him, and I'm the guy that you usually come talk to.
So you've seen a lot then, I guess. What would you say is probably a very memorable night?
A very memorable night would have to be the night at the shed, when I worked in the shed in Shawlands. Big place, GBX night. Place was absolutely heaving. Up on the main hallway, there's like a row of benches and tables that look like a mini beer garden, but it's indoors. So they've got the full like scaffolding structures. You notice like that sort of vineyard looking thing. And one of the beams, there was this guy hanging from it. Like, he was just sitting there hanging with his arms, acting like a dick. So we walked up to him like, mate, see if you keep hanging off that, 2 things are going to happen. 1, it's going to come down crashing on you. 2, we're dragging you out. So he went, right, no bother. So we kept an eye on him because we knew it was going to happen again. And sure as shit, he climbed up again, and then next minute, all you heard was this, and the full beam collapsed on top of him. Now, don't get me wrong, it wasn't a solid bit of oak or timber, but it still landed, and the guy was lying, absolute sparkled on this thing with the beam on top of him. So we've just shoved the beam off him, woke him up, and he's looked at me and he's just went, right, okay. And we didn't even need to touch him, he just left. I was just like, all right, fair dues.
Gets to the point where you realise, I know, okay, I was told.
Yeah, it's what, like, that's one of the main reasons I like that sort of scene because you get to see the craziest shit in your life. Like you wouldn't expect to see something, and then all of a sudden. I mean, there's also the time where a guy walked up to me asking where I could buy sex toys. That was a surreal moment. I'm not gonna lie. He just kind of walked up, hot out with it, and I was just like, I admire your candor, mate, but I can't help you. I mean, I don't know. Have you tried online?
It's one of these things. Is like you've got the balls to ask, so I'm going to give you a serious answer.
I'm actually going to give you a serious answer. I'm just, no, I couldn't help you, mate. Sorry.
Excellent. Right, so the kind of round up as well. We've talked about the past with your channel. We've talked about the present. Let's talk about the future. Have you got anything planned or anything in the works with your channel or out with that you want to let us in on? Or
well, I know that a lot of people are sitting chilling, and when I look at other streamers, I notice that they're all more reformed, they're all more routine, they're all more planned. You know, basically they've got their shit together, which I've never been good at in my entire life. So I basically, at the moment, I'm just streaming what I'm feeling. So if I'm feeling Mass Effect one day, or feeling Halo the next, I'll stream them. I did plan on getting back to Monster Hunter at one point because I was really enjoying that. But a lot of games have came out in the past couple of weeks, couple of months that I've went, right, I want to try and get tore into. But I've also, we're almost at 100 followers now, so I'm gonna plan like 100 followers stream because the first 100 is like a major event for me. Like there's people out there that've got like tens and thousands, and I'm just like, alright, cool, but I've got 100, so me and my 100 pals are gonna go hang out here because we're all sound, you know.
No, excellent.
But I plan on doing it every 100 I get because that way it keeps it frequent. You know what I mean?
Until your channel blows up and you're getting 100 a day.
If my channel a day, I'm going to be very fucking busy and very, very drunk. But
24-hour streams, are you just stumbling into bed?
Aye, pretty much. That's a bit's going to work.
Excellent. Fantastic. Well, Manny, thank you so much for coming on to the Scots Whistle Podcast Week 109 for the new kind of interview style. In half an hour, the stream will be booted up again by Connie my dog, and that's when the community games night will start. And then, of course, I think it's at 9 p.m. You've got the quiz starting as well. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I
mean, if you've not got anything else better to do, you can just literally sit here and chat shit until 6 o'clock.
You could as well, you know, but you've got half an hour to go and get your dinner, go to the toilet. I don't know how long you guys take on the toilet. I know I take about 20 minutes because I'm just on TikTok all the time. So you can go ahead, get yourself some dinner, all that, and the streams will be back up in half an hour. But until then, guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next week at 5 p.m. with another guest. If you want to check out Manny's channel, you've got exclamation mark Manny in the chat, and that will take you to his channel where you can help him get to 100 followers. I actually think you're on 97 when I checked. I think you're 3 away.
99.
99. Who's good? If any of you guys in the chat haven't followed, get him to 100. Let's get him pished. Like that'll be it. You know, make Manny pished again. There we go. Well, until then, guys, we will see you guys soon. Yeah, we need an outro. I'll get an outro soon. So, built this network, Scots Whistle, built network. We'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.